All right. Hey, everybody. It's me, the Dad Bod veteran. How we doing today? Hopefully everybody is in here, getting in here, jumping in here. Let me make myself a little bit bigger here. Um, I will apologize to everybody who's watching right now. I have come down with a little bit of a cold. So, I will be sounding a little hoarse. I will probably not be my normal self, and I will probably be constantly drinking some tea that I've got here sitting right beside me. So, as long as you guys are good with that, and as long as you want to hang out for this awesome dude that I've got today, then this is going to be an absolutely riot of a show. So, let's talk about who we're going to bring out on the stage with me today. You may know him as the Feral Man. Uh, Grayson Magaha Comedy is his handle on all of the social media platforms. He's been doing this for a good bit of time, and I've actually been very connected with him along his journey. And so, once we're starting this Coffee and Creators, I really wanted to reach out to him. He was always on the priority list of somebody to have a conversation with. Um, and we have the opportunity for the stars to align between his busy schedule of doing all the stuff that he's got going on and my busy schedule of doing all the stuff I got going on to make this happen. So, I'm not going to give away too much more because we're going to have lots of cool conversations about lots of crazy stuff, and we're going to see where this thing goes. And of course, as always, interact with us in the comments because we will take some time to answer your questions that you have on the line. This is a live interactive forum. We're all here to be together, learn together, and just have a good time. So, without further ado, Mr. Grayson Magaha Comedy.
What? Well,
There he is.
that was one awesome intro, dude. I appreciate that. You made me sound professional and legit like that. That was nice.
You're legit, dude. I mean, I bow to you. You are legit. You of all people that I have met through this creator life are probably the most studious, the most attentive, and the most willing to learn person that I have ever come across. Uh,
It's
ever since, for those of you who don't know on the line, he reached out to me probably about what 6 months to a year ago, somewhere along
yeah,
those lines.
yeah.
And ever since then, you've been like a sponge of trying to learn and grow and catch the tricks. And to be honest with you, nobody has ever reached out to me like that. Because first of all, I'm not really anybody. But second of all, you on your own have caught this rocket ship to get you to where you are right now. And it's awesome to have watched and to have been a part of that. So kudos to you on everything that you've done thus far. But
I think,
what I want, go ahead.
well, you said on my own, and to make sure, because I am the feral wife guy, so to make sure that I give credit where credit is due, um, without Mrs. McGaha comedy, a lot of this would not have been to the point. But as for the sponge, man, I mean, I have always been I've always, you don't know what you don't know, but you can't learn what you're not willing to. And that's one of the things when it comes to being the learning tree of how to do it right. I mean, you got to give yourself some credit where credit is due. Like, you're not just the learning tree, my friend. You are like the oak. Like, sit and listen to the stories, children. This gentleman knows what you like. He knows what he's talking about. Everything that you have said to do and do right and not do has made sense. So, I mean, you got to give yourself a pat on the back on that one too. I greatly appreciate it.
Well, I'm just an idiot with phone, too much time on my hands, and a long time on the earth. So, but seriously, let's start off with how you started this because I don't think you've shared that story too many times. Maybe you could take a journey down memory lane for everybody and tell us where Grayson Magaha comedy started.
Well, Grayson McGaha comedy started years ago, prior to the wonderful world of COVID and everything else. I've always wanted to do stand up. I mean, I can remember watching Johnny Carson and Conan and Leno and being like, that's what I want to do. I want to be that guy. And always guys like Farley and Sandler and Belushi and things like that. That was my childhood. I always loved stand up, and I was like, I want to do that. So, as a dad and as a husband, nobody, there's no playbook on how to do that, right? And the priorities change really quick when you become a dad. We had kids pretty young, and it was one of those things where it was like, I can't go and be a traveling comedian. Like I can't go and do something for $200 and spend 150 on gas to get there. So I put that on the shelf for a long time and I went and worked. And I finally got myself in a position to where I could try it. I was like, I want to try to do stand up, and I fell in love with it. Got to the point to where I was doing my own shows, because I couldn't get enough of it. I was like, I want to be on stage as much as possible. I want to hone my craft, but the juice has got to be worth the squeeze. Like that was the biggest thing with being a dad. I'm like, I want to be on stage, and then you'd go and do these open mics where there's three people and it's a coffee house. And you're like, nobody is here to see comedy. This is not beneficial for me to be doing this. So I started producing my own shows. We called them Funny on Tap. We would go to local breweries and stuff like that, and it was great. Then I got laid off. COVID hit, and I lost my job, and I couldn't do the stand up stuff anymore. Um, and that setting at home for the first time, and I will openly admit, being bitter because I worked for a company that I really was giving my heart and soul to, and we got called. So all the management was leaving, everybody was dropping like flies with COVID, people were calling out. And in order to keep things working, me and a whole bunch of other guys, we were volunteering all the time. We wanted everybody to get a check. We were like, no, like we got to keep going. So we get a call on July 3rd. Hey guys, we're gonna send everybody home. Like, let's do this 2 week safe stay. That way, if anybody's been exposed to COVID or anything like that, everybody will be better when we come back. Right? Right. Okay, cool. So July 3rd, we go have 4th of July. July 5th at 8 o'clock in the morning, I get a phone call telling me that my services are no longer needed. And that was the first time since having kids, and the first time since pretty much high school that I was not working. I sat at the house and was like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
And there were no stand-up shows, there was nothing like that happening. So I picked up my phone and just I vented my frustration about being let go in a comedic way. And one view turned into two views, turned into doing different videos. And I was like, man, people are there's a group of people who really like the corporate humor that I'm doing. And then I started talking, people wanted to know more about what I did. So then I started talking about, the stuff I like. And then the feral stuff, that is 100% me just bragging on my wife. I see a lot of really, I see, well, I see a lot of guys. I hate the term because I don't like the term. There's a lot of those girls on TikTok that are like, where are the good guys at? And I'm like, they're at work and then they come home to their wives. Like that's where they're at. Like they're doing things. So it just the feral wife stuff took off because it really is a love letter to my wife. Because I some things that my wife would do would make me go, I know I can't be the only husband who has ever been to a McDonald's drive-through and been like, how do you not know what you want? Like I she will pull up to a McDonald's drive-through and she'll be like, I got to see what they got. And I'm like, it's McDonald's.
It's a mix something. It's a
It's
mix
a
whatever
mix
you want it
something.
to be.
Like I would be surprised if the menu changes, but we've waited in line for 10 minutes. We get to the point to where we can order, and you're going, nothing. It's a number one. Let's get through the roll. Let's go. I don't know. Do they have do they do bacon, egg, and cheese? It is 10:30 at night. No, they do not. Let's go. Come on. I'm hungry. That's what McDonald's was the last choice. So just doing videos and skits like that and things that have been stuff that I've done on stage has been one of those things where, again, performing on stage in front of 20 people, it's great, it's organic, it's a lovely. Being able to do it from the comfort of my car, because that's where I shoot most of them, is just there's something about it, and I try to keep it to where it's like this, just two guys talking. Like, I hope that's the way the videos come off, as just, hey, let me tell you a joke. Like, just two blue collar guys talking like we would at work. I mean, that's what I try to go for.
So you have a different way, and you've branched out way past your car. Okay, I see you all over the place. I see you on the beach. I see you on vacation, and I feel like I'm restricted. I'm in some sort of TikTok prison in which my porch is the only place I'm allowed to produce content. Because when I don't do it there, the whole world is wondering, well, are we divorced? Did you get kicked out? What's going on? Why aren't you on the porch, etc. How did you make that transition um, healthy in the content flow from your car to everything else? I mean, was there a negative response to it, or what do you think about that?
The AC in the car stopped working, so I got out of the car.
Yes.
That's
I,
legitimately what happened. I sat in the car and the AC in the car stopped working, and I'd sit there trying to make videos, and I'm like, I can't, I'm sweating here trying to make videos. I think that there is a level. All right, so with the story times that you do, which are great, it's just always been so peaceful, right? You've got the wind chimes going in the back, and it's always a gather round children. I mean, it's the same thing with the voice. It's there's something so soothing about it. I think, you see, I don't like using green screens. I've seen people do it, and I don't. A lot of the stuff that I've done has just been, hey, I'm going to make a video right here. I know that anybody who would look at me go, this guy doesn't plan things out. Yeah, that's really it. Like, I don't plan things out, and I don't write a script the way I used to, because I found that, like, for me, it's more funny on the fly. I have bullet points of what I want to talk about, and I'm just going to shoot the video. Um, I think maybe that's how it goes for me to
so
be able to go from one
spend
to the
like
other.
you don't spend like all night thinking about your next video that you're going to make, because that's what I do. I hate to say it, but I spend all night pondering, what am I going to do next? What's my next review? How am I going to say it? I usually forget absolutely everything that I thought about because I don't write anything down, but I feel like I'm constantly 100, hours a day thinking about my next piece of content. Is that how it
I
is for you?
I get to the point to where I want to be better. Like, I had a conversation with another creator who said the same thing. He's like, I write everything down. I feel like this is just me. I feel like the I get upset when I do it and the video doesn't go anywhere. If that makes any sense at all. I've had
Yeah.
videos that I
Yeah.
have written. I have videos that I've written and rewritten jokes for, and I've been like, this. Nothing's
This
ever
is the one.
perfect, but I'm like, this
Yeah.
is it. This is perfect. This is the way it needs to be. The rhymes, because I really love to use random metaphors and drop movie quotes in. Like, I love being able to throw in a Goonies line just to, like, trigger people, and so because they're like, hold on a second, but I've had ones that I've written out very detailed and memorized, almost like a monologue, memorized, and then the thing sits at 800 views, and you're like, what, what did I do wrong? It took me three
This
days to, yeah, it took me 3 days to edit this. It took me forever to do this. Like, why doesn't the social media gods like me today? And it's happened. So I've tried to be a lot more on the fly, and a lot more. I have bits that I want to do that I know I'm going to work on. I get it a lot of the times in my comments with the feral wife stuff. They're like, you've already done a bit about the feral wives. And I'm like, I know, but I'm adding more to it. It's like the Gen X
there's a
stuff.
lot more.
You can continue to talk about it. There's a lot more that you can add to it. And
Right.
will I repeat a line every now and then? Yeah, absolutely. I probably will repeat a joke every now and then, but it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Let's look at the comments real quick before we go to another topic that I really, really, really want to talk about. So we got a lot of people here in the comments. Thank you guys all for chiming in and where all you're from. I see a couple different people that I know personally up in here. Anybody got any questions in here for Grayson before we jump into our next topic, which he's going to absolutely love. He doesn't even know about this topic.
Oh
Topic,
goodness,
but
I don't even know.
Come on, guys. Let's get some questions for Grayson here in the live so we can make this very
Told you.
interactive.
They
Maybe,
all love you. They're
maybe
still wondering who I am.
no, they love you, man. You're the ish. You're the
Maybe if I
ish.
put sunglasses on. See, you did how now let me
Somebody
ask you
actually,
this.
somebody actually asked where your dad bod hat was. I was like, oh, I don't even know where is this dad bod hat.
My dad bod hat is actually I'm gonna be honest, I lose hats at the beach every time because I go in the water and I can swim, but I can't swim that great. So there are certain hats that I refuse to travel with just because I'm like, if I lose this hat, I would cry. My dad bod hat, my dad bod hat is there, and then my floral NC State hat. They stay at the house. Like those are do not travel hats.
I'll be honest with you. My hats are all limited edition. But the blue one that you have is actually one that I keep reordering. So I can replace it if it ever gets damaged. In fact, I got a buddy down in Panama, Steve. I've already replaced this twice because he likes to build moldy art in it. But Jeffrey has a question for you here, and I know Jeff real well. He actually helped me get my Facebook page back after the hijacking. When will you return his shirts?
Well, that is my buddy Jeffrey, who is my Bigfoot hunter friend. He knows how much I love a good Bigfoot story, and I think that if I gave Jeffrey this shirt, he could use it as a tent to go hide for Bigfoot. But it's okay. I love him, man. I my wife laughed at me, and this is again the women who run my life and lovely. All of my videos look the same because in blue collar world, I would just wear black t-shirts to work every day. I needed to wear something that was going to become, you know, that I didn't mind ruining. And she was the one who told me, she's like, you need to wear something that's bright because the FYP, all you see is big guys with beards and hats and sunglasses, and they all look the same. So what's going to set you aside? And I'm like, I don't know. And she was like, she started making me wear goofy Hawaiian shirts, and I'm like, I love it. So it's great.
You know what? I'm too scared to try it. I applaud you for doing it. I have them. I just am too scared because I think it would throw off the whole world if I ever tried to do something like that. Rosie, we see the comments from everybody, so don't worry. We're seeing everything that's going on. Tanya, I love this question. So I'll tell you mine after you tell me yours. But what do your kids think about this? Because I've seen your son a couple times in the videos and some FaceTimes that we've had. What does he think about you being a viral sensation?
I'm lame. I'm completely lame. I'm completely cringy. The only time that the only time that they will admit what I do is if somebody else thinks it's cool. My youngest, if one of his friends thinks it's cool, then oh, I'm the coolest thing ever. Other than that, no. They just like to be able to do the other parts. But yeah, my oldest, I don't even think my oldest uses my last name anymore. I mean, I'll be my
Uh,
oldest could care less, but my youngest, I don't know. Do your kids like it? Like, what do you
oh
think?
my God. So initially, when I started it, my
Oh, he
kids cringed
paused.
about it. Oh, are we back? You good? Um, my kids were a little bit off on. Did we drop? Give me a thumbs up or something.
I hear you a little bit.
Okay, you good? You back?
I hear you. Yep.
Okay, good. So my kids initially were cringy about it. One of my kids didn't know because he was actually in boot camp when it happened, when I started going viral. But now they're out pushing it just as much as I am. Like, this is my dad, man. You know who the dad bod is? That's my dad. That's my dad.
That's
Like,
that's awesome.
my oldest is up there in Eureka Springs. She's working at the Crescent Hotel, which we'll talk about paranormal stuff here in a minute. But the haunted
Oh,
Crescent Hotel was where we stayed. And that's where she works, and she's out there pushing it like everybody else. So they're totally 100%, 120% on board. In fact, they're like, Dad, I want to do it. What's the secret sauce? Tell me. I want to do it, Dad. I want to be just like you.
I
This is
can't
pretty
tell.
cool. It's really cool.
The secret sauce conversation is always one that makes me giggle. That one and the it must be nice. I know that you've had it in your I know you've had it in your comments too, where I cannot stand somebody with a it must be nice to be able to do. And I'm like, oh, if you had any idea. What I do is not a job. I get it. It is a different job, but it's the behind the scenes part. We do everything in house. Like when it comes to stickers. I mean, truthfully, I tell people I'm lucky to be able to make stickers the way we make stickers, but like I'm an employee of my wife's. That's what I am now. But the must be nice
That's,
comment is the one that drives me the craziest.
yeah, absolutely. So let's shift gears and talk about the paranormal stuff. 'Cause I saw a question back here about how you got started about paranormal. And I'm sorry if I can't grab the person's question because these
No,
things are
you're
coming in
good.
so fast. But how did your paranormal life in the social media world start? Walk us kind of through that. Because I know you had a
Oh,
little stint with the paranormal world, and what happened with
I
that?
well, not to we've parted ways. It will come back, but um I got burned out doing it, to be honest. But the paranormal stuff started with the night shift stuff. A lot of people knew me when I was working full time. I worked night shift. I worked night shift for 18 years, and some of the videos that I was doing when I was just starting doing TikTok was. The sun's going down and you're clocking in. Here's some things that only night shift will understand. Because people would
Yeah,
always ask
I
me about
love
the
that.
dark circles under my eyes, and people would ask me about the dark circles under my eyes, or even the times that I would post videos, because I would legit be sitting at the parking lot at work, and I'm posting a video, and then I can't comment on the video. I can't go in there and do anything because on the campus of where I was working, we weren't allowed to have our phones, so my phone had to stay in the car. So I'd legit make a video, post it, and set it down, and then not be able to be on my phone for another 12 hours. So anytime I went viral was wonderful, because I'm like, oh, people actually saw that, because I wasn't allowed to have my phone. But I made one statement in one of my videos about night shift. I was like, we are the people who are up at 3 o'clock in the morning. We are the people who understand that there are things that go bump in the night. If you see it, no, you didn't. If you heard it, no, you didn't. Just keep doing your job. And I talked about workplace gremlins. I mean, if you've ever worked night shift, you understand that your tools will go missing, your keys will go missing. And I worked night shift when I worked in the jail, and of course, there's a lot of fun, scary stuff that happened in the jail. But even working in factories and stuff like that, there's a world outside of this world that happened when the sun goes down that people just don't think of. And so you like coyotes. Nobody thinks of coyotes, but guess what? At night there's coyotes. Like it's a real thing. And so I just started making the statements about weird stuff, and then I got flooded. I got flooded with messages and emails, and hey, let me tell you my paranormal story. Hey, let me tell you my paranormal story. Nobody would believe me, so let me tell you my story. And somebody asked me to tell their story, and that is how Paranormal Night Shift started for me. Somebody said, I want to tell this story, but nobody, like, if I put it up on TikTok, nobody will believe me. People call me crazy. And they told me that, I read the story and I was like, that is amazing. It was a Ouija board story. And I'm like, that is an amazing story. Of course I'll tell it. And it just blew up, and it turned into me telling people stories because they were afraid to tell their stories. And I would tweak some and change the names of the innocent or the not so innocent. Or a lot of the times I would I'd get bits of a story, but not a story. And you and I both are storytellers at heart. I love to tell a story. Um, so I would take it and I'd make a little bit of it and just start doing it. And I never did any paranormal investigations. A lot of people ask me about that, but I've always been fascinated about the paranormal. So it just became a really fun thing for me. Working night shift and things like that. Like, you see things that you can't explain. And I think it's one of those things. You and I, neither of us do politics, neither of us do anything like that on our platforms. I always say that there's things that bring people together, and for some reason, the paranormal brings people together. You can absolutely disagree with everything else I say, but if you totally thought you saw a Bigfoot or a UFO, you're gonna tell me that story, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it definitely is. And like I said, I stayed at the Crescent Hotel, allegedly the most haunted hotel in the U.S. if you ever get a chance, go check it out. That's a really cool hotel, and they do ghost tours like every hour of the frickin' day there. So it's a good place. What state are we from? We are neighbors.
We're
We are
neighbors.
neighbors. Yeah, except you're a northerner to me.
Yeah, well, it's North Carolina. It's good to be on top. Is all I ever tell people. It's good to be on top. Um,
Oh,
in my older age, I've realized, it's good to be on top. I can get more work done and be fun and be fine with it. But I
yeah, it's a little hotter down here in the South Carolina area. It's especially out here on the coast. I mean, in fact, what's interesting right now is that you are in South Carolina
yes,
on vacation. You are in what we would like to call the Dirty Myrtle,
I am in the Dirty
which
Myrtle,
is
my home away from
which is
home.
like a methamphetamine version of Daytona Beach.
Hmm.
That's kind of what Myrtle Beach is, if anybody's ever been there. So it's good to know
Yeah.
that even though you like to be on top, you come here for fun.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I like my women a little trashy. That's why we go down to that's why we go down here to Dirty Myrtle. That's it.
Ah, God, Dirty Myrtle.
I like
That's
them
Dirty
kind of
Myrtle's heart.
dirty. Kind of girl got a
So
little stamp on her back. Lets you know she knows something.
yeah,
Um,
so let's talk about the relationship that you and Mrs. Magaha have when it comes to your business marriage, because you and I have completely different perspectives about how this works. In fact, we've got another big creator that will be on this show in a couple weeks that I will talk about later. But how is that relationship with you? Is she the real one? I mean, is she kind of like the puppet and you, or the puppeteer, and you're just kind of moving your mouth whenever she tells
absolutely.
you to?
That's the best way to put that. That is 100% the best way to put that. My wife and I, we joke about it, and my kids say the same thing. If I was left to my own devices, I'd have a lot of cool shit for 3 weeks, or no, excuse me, 3 months, and then it would get repoed. Because when it comes to being a grown up, I don't know how. Yes, as Bennett's saying, Amber is the boss, 100%. I think it was she. Now I don't know how Mrs. Dadbod was. My wife didn't want anything to do with TikTok. She saw it as a creative outlet for me. She saw it as a creative outlet for me, and she understood how hurt I was about getting let go because I'd never been fired or anything like that. I legit was so there um, that she saw it as an outlet for me to be able to try to be creative, and she saw I was having fun with it, and then we had conversations with people and they were like, dude, you know that you could maybe get paid to make a couple of these videos and do this. And I had a video go absolutely nuts, and then I came home one day and said, I just want stickers. I was like, it'd be kind of fun to be able to
Stickers.
hang out. Yeah, I was like, well, people asked me for merch. They were like, you know, do you not have merch? And I'm like, I just want stickers. You know, it can't be that hard. I just want stickers, little something that says Grayson McGaha or something on it. You know, just I see tons of comedians have stickers, and they all, if they do a show, they hand them out. Like, I just want stickers. So by the time I got home the next morning, it's there. Yeah, like she had all the stuff that we needed to make stickers at the house. Never had made a sticker before a day in her life, and then we like it just took off. And the moment it started taking off, it was like she learned with it as well. But if it came to the business part of it and the keeping me motivated part of it and the wake up, let's make a video, let's do something part of it, when we decided to go for I say go for broke, when we decided to go for broke and realized that I could run the sticker business full time, we were having enough sales to where the sticker business was making the same kind of money I was making clocking in and out for a job that I never got to see my kids for. So she's like, if as long as we can make that, and we had consistent time of making that, she's like, we have the money in a 401k to be able to give this a try. And that's what we did. We gave it a try. But she is the motivator. She is the boss. I don't know how to do half of this. Setting this up, she did it.
So AM AM digital
That is
tech. He
Joe.
actually
That is Joe McDonald.
Yeah,
Yep.
Joe said that Grayson's stickers are amazing first, but then he corrected himself and says Mrs. Magaha stickers
Oh, yes.
are
Yes.
absolutely amazing. Mrs. DBV, she was a little bit different about it. She was very hesitant at the very beginning because of putting a lot of our life out there, exposing us to a bunch of different stuff. But now she has become what I'd like to call the subliminal strategic advisor to the DBV Nation. Meaning, I'm kind of a bullhead, and if I don't want to do something, or if I do want to do something, that's exactly the path that we're going to go. I'm a Taurus, and that's just the way that I am. But she has learned to craftily incentivize me to do things that she wants by making it my idea. But it's her idea. In the back of my mind, it's her idea because she'll come back and she'll say, "Hey, you know that I just told you that last week," and I go, "No, you didn't. No, you didn't." But it was her idea. So she's learned the craft of how to get me moving in the right direction. So while she may not be as upfront and forward as Mrs. Magaha is about it, she's still pulling the strings on this whole situation that we got right here. In fact, what we're doing right now is kind of part of her motivation and her idea is where this all came from. So yeah, we are not anything without them. Is the honest to God truth.
No.
So yeah, cool stuff, cool stuff. So this guy's asking Jason of the Dad Bod, what do you do other than content creating? I sit at home a lot and work. Now, I am very fortunate to have a work from home job, and I travel for work sometimes, and that's what I do in my full time. I did not, and probably won't because of my very, very Gen X way of thinking, ever quit my job, even if it's paid me millions of dollars a year. I'm scared. That's just the way that I think. But look at this. Look who we got here. Mrs. Shameless is
Uh,
showing up. We were just talking about you a minute ago before we started this whole thing. It's, giving you cred for kind of kicking this whole thing off with the Coffee and Creators when I got to do that interview with you. So you and Mr. Magaha need to hook up because I told him how much of a hoot you are. And to everybody else on the line, if you don't know who Shameless is, please go check her out as well. But you guys need to hook up and maybe figure out how you guys can do a live stream or interview together because I think that would be an absolute move for you, Grayson, because she's a fireball. I love her. I've done 2 interviews with her, one on her podcast, one on my podcast, and I hope to God I get to bring her back. In fact, Shameless, Mrs. DBV has already asked me, when are you bringing Shameless back? When are you going to bring Shameless back? I'm like, I can't just keep interviewing Shameless every couple of weeks. It's not going to work out. Anyway, back to you, Mr. Grayson. What are your thoughts about when you go out in public? I mean, how has your life changed when you're outside of the house uh, yesterday versus outside of their house today? Are you getting people talking to you yet? I mean, are you getting that interaction with your fans? I mean, are you carrying merch in your pocket? Or are you slapping stickers everywhere that stickers exist? What's that look like for you?
all three, maybe. All of it. I um I wish I was as cool as I thought I was. I'll put it that way. I wish I was as cool as I thought I was. We were at the beach. We were at the beach earlier today, and a lady came and handed me her phone and asked me to take a picture, and it still didn't click in my mind that she wanted a picture with me. So I was like, "All right, everybody, squeeze in tight," and I held the phone up, and I'm like, "She's like, what are you doing?" She's like, "I wanted a picture of you," and I'm like, "With oh, um, I'm I say it all the time. I'm nobody. Truthfully, and it's not to try to cut myself short or anything like that. I am somebody who worked really hard and got, yes, I got lucky, but I don't think it's any different. I've had people come up and, we've had people come up and shake our hand. We've had people come up and tell me that they really love the comedy. I had a lady the other day tell me that my blue collar stuff helped save her marriage because she never understood what her husband was thinking. Um, I, it's fun, but I don't think it's changed anything about who I am. I think a lot of what you see with Grayson McGaha on screen is pretty much what you get most of the time. Um, I might turn it up to 11 just a little bit to be a little bit more entertaining, but for the most part, everything we talk about doing is what we like to do. I mean, I like to go to the beach. I like to hang out and have fun. I love being a dad. Um, because I'm at a point now to where I can go and hang out with my kids and do a lot more stuff. Working night shift, I missed a lot of birthdays. I missed a lot of holidays. We never really got to take vacations, and that's why we try to do as much as we're doing now. Like the kids are out of school, I'm like, let's go to the beach and let's go and do this stuff and let's rent a house. And I don't care if we go to the beach or anything. We just hang out and have fun because I feel like I never got to do that. But I'm not getting stalkers or anything like that, not yet. But it's
So
there.
you don't have any of what Tanya is talking about, which I've seen some bigger creators talking about fans overstepping, but you haven't seen that yet?
I think I think there's a difference between overstepping. You're going to have creepy people either way, right? Like there's even if we weren't content creators, there's weird people in this world who overstep. We have neighbors that will overstep because they think they can. So I think I hadn't had. I see a lot of the bigger ones talk about people showing up to their house and things like that. And it might be an unpopular opinion around content creators, but it's do you not kind of invite it a little bit? Like, I mean, we are making these videos for a reason. Like, we want the level of you can't want the fame and fortune and success and all that other stuff, and then be upset when the people call you out on it. When you're wearing a watch and somebody's like, "That's an expensive watch," or somebody shows up to your house, you can't be upset about it. Like,
Yeah.
it's what you've signed up for by opening your life up to the masses. Like
Well, I
it
had thought about it. I thought about it this when I was over up at the Crescent Hotel, because everything's haunted there. And I was actually hoping that, when I pass on past this world, that my porch, that I would be able to haunt that. And then it would be like a historic landmark that people would come and take ghost tours, and maybe or maybe not, they could see me filming a new video on the porch or something like that. But
from the
I
beyond.
totally get what you're saying. We do invite it to a certain extent, but there's also that other extent that we are human beings too. Um,
Yes,
I promise you
yes.
that I live in a place that if you show up at my house, you really wanted to be there. You know what I mean? I mean,
It's the
we're
same
out.
way with us. Yeah.
We're out. We're out somewhere, and not many cars come where we are. And if you showed up here, you definitely wanted to be here. And um, we have people here as well that
Yeah.
and dogs and stuff like that. But that's beside the point. I think the bigger
I think it
that we
really
get.
is one of those things. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm not frozen.
Oh,
But
yes,
yeah,
I
I
think
think
that
the
the bigger.
bigger that you get, the more you might have to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the bigger risk, the bigger exposure that we've got. So let's get some more questions from the live stream here. So go ahead, guys, shoot out with your questions. Jeffrey, our Gen doesn't care enough to stalk. You're correct. It's not the Gen Xers who are going to stalk anyone.
No,
Most
no.
likely, it's going to be younger folks that need to do that because we know that the boomers couldn't actually do it if they wanted to. That would require way too much movement. Um, let's see if we can find some good questions in here. Uh,
I think the funnest thing for us has been the Google searches that there are very few people who know Mrs. McGaha comedy. So the Google searches when we Google search Grayson McGaha, the number two thing is Grayson McGaha comedy wife. Because Amber does not want anything to do with being on camera. You will hear her voice. She will speak when I go live. She'll speak all day long. She will be in the lives. Every now and then she will go on camera, but she does not want to be on camera. She respects her privacy, and I respect the fact that she doesn't want to do it. So it makes perfect sense. So I think that that is probably the funnest thing to just get the people who want to know what it is.
so here's a great question. In fact, that was a good segue because everybody keeps Googling what my net worth is, and it's zero.
Yes.
It's zero. That is the number. Even if I did make $1 million doing this, I would probably spend it all anyway. absolutely horrible with money. So yeah, that's just for you guys. Dwayne wants to know, hello from New Orleans, and that's hopefully the right pronunciation for it. Have either of you ever touched Yankee soil? LOL.
Ooh. Have you touched Yankee soil?
So here's the secret that everybody keeps forgetting every time I do a live stream. I have to say this. I was birthed in Ohio. Um,
Oh,
that
that makes
yeah, that
sense
place.
now. That makes sense now. That makes
I was
sense now. Um,
I was born in Youngstown, but my dad was in the Air Force. He was only there to basically birth me, and then we were here in Charleston, and I've been here ever since. So, yes, I have family still up there in Youngstown, Ohio. So I do every once in a
I have
while touch grass up there. Youngstown, David, that's a good part. And for
I
you,
have I've been to New York once
well,
when I was 18, and then that's about it. Everything I like to do is south of the Mason-Dixon line. I'm not gonna lie. Hopefully, eventually we'll be able to travel, but um, I like going down to like Florida and Bama and Georgia and those areas, but no, I don't really travel up north. It gets cold up there, and that's what I'm scared of. Like I've lived in
yeah,
North
but
Carolina my entire life. We've never traveled so like that. So we don't I've not seen real people snow. I've seen North Carolina snow to where we close things down because it flurries. So I just don't know how I would deal with real people up north stuff.
yeah. So listen, we are both insulated people. I can tell you
Yes.
personally that I prefer 65-ish to be the temperature. That's my happy place. And it seems like the northern places offer that on a more consistent basis. Now, that being said, I don't want to suffer through their winters either because they get, I mean, my family up in Ohio, they get snowed in from basically November to March. And that's just the way that it is. So,
Yeah, that doesn't seem
uh,
fun. Yeah, that doesn't seem
yeah,
fun.
I mean, it's fun to go visit because they do have nicer weather. All right. So, from Dean, Dad, Grayson, thanks for the contact. Quick question. If you're out with family or in a public place and someone recognizes you, are you okay with them approaching and saying hello? I'll let you shoot that one first.
Absolutely. And I mean it respectfully. I will tell a story and go from there. I think a lot of it is again, not even as a content, whatever you want to call it, social media, whatever. A lot of it is the approach, right? Like, how are you going to act? Because with me, I have littles. I have littles and my wife with me. So I know your littles are bigger than mine, but I have littles and my wife with me. So my biggest thing, like kids are off limits. So if I'm doing something and you want to come and have a conversation with me, come and say hello. That's great. Respectfully kind of thing. Like, hey, it's this, but we had somebody, this was not too terribly long ago. We had somebody like wedge themselves in between me and my kids one time because they wanted to have a conversation with me. And
Yeah,
like, I had little man and my oldest son here, and my wife was, in front of them. So he kind of like just like wedged in between us. And now I'm separated from my kids. My kids no longer have adult supervision. And
yeah,
I was
no.
like, I'm fine taking a picture with you, but like, you don't get to move my people out of the way so that you can take a picture with me. Like, I
That,
think
that,
it's a common sense kind of thing. I love the fact that there are people who love what I do, and I love that it matters to so many people enough to where you would even want to come take a picture with me. That makes me happy. As long as you're respectful about it, then yeah, that's cool. Because I think you said it earlier. We're people, right? We're
yeah.
people.
Well, and that's going to pull the Papa Bear instinct out real fast. If you get between me and my kids, now,
Yeah.
luckily, my kids, little baby boy, the one that just got engaged, if everybody saw that, he's actually just about as big as me, except for he's, benching big heavy weights and doing all that powerlifting stuff, whatever he does. So he's a big boy, and I don't think that if he wanted to get separated from me, that it would actually happen. But my perspective on this, back to your question, Dean, um, is that I wouldn't be where I am without you, Dean, and Brad,
Exactly.
and Jim, and Alamo, and EJ, and Jeffrey, and Tanya, and everybody else that's in the live right now. I wouldn't be here without you guys. So I kind of feel like I owe it to you, and I
Mhm.
consistently reinstate the fact that if you see me, come say hi to me, because it's
Yes.
more awkward for you than it is for me. And if you've got the cojones to come up and say hi to me and say thank you for your content, I want to hear that all day long because I think that's awesome. Now, of course, if it's in poor form, you might get a poor form response, right? If me and the missus are out dancing, to I had the time of my life on the dance floor, and you start wedging in, that might be a problem. But if it's in good form, then absolutely, I'll stop what I'm doing and I'll take a picture with you. I've done that on
Yep.
several different occasions. So yeah, that kind of answers that question. So here's another one that we always see. Oh, this one's a really good one from Sarah, and I want to know the answer to this one too because I know how tall I am. But how tall are you, Grayson?
Ooh. I am wow, y'all are calling me out. I am every bit of 5'10" and a half, depending on what boots I'm wearing. I'm very short. I am 5'10" ish. I guess they say average, but most of everybody I meet is like 6'5", and I'm like, how are you guys giants? And they're like, we're not 6'5", you're just short. And I'm like, okay, well that makes sense. So
Yeah, so I am or was 6'4" in my good days, and I'm 6'3" and a quarter now because life is starting to compress, and we're going downhill, and that's just the way that it is. So I'm a bigger boy, height wise. Were you in the military for Misty?
was I in the military? No, I was not in the military. I did local law enforcement for about 6, 7 years, but was not in the military.
And I was a Navy guy. In fact, both my oldest and my youngest are in the Navy as well. So we have service members running through the blood. This is an interesting question. How long have you been married? We're just getting
Ooh,
into really interesting questions.
Peggy. All right. Well, how long have you been married?
Me and Mrs. DBV have been together for going on 13 years.
I was
So we
about to
both
say
had
I got to give you the second so that I can count mine. Um,
yeah, see, yeah, we're going on 13 years. But we are both from previous marriages, and both of our kids are from previous marriages, and we've got a total of five children altogether. Yeah, it's an easy enough question.
there's debate on our end of how long we've been together, but I know our oldest son is about to turn 16, which means that it's somewhere between 17 or 18 years that we have officially known to each other and been together. So somewhere in that range. 17 years. I'm going with 17.
That's a lot. That's a long. That's a long time. You know that at 20 years you could have got out for the homicide.
Yeah, I
I
know.
keep
I know. And
people keep reminding me of that for
I
some
keep
reason. I don't
reminding
know.
her of that. Like I'm like, look, you're here. So just remember, as long as you've been with me is as long as you'll end up having to do time for. It's what keeps me awake at night. She falls asleep watching true crime documentaries, and I'm like, I don't know if I should go to sleep yet.
Oh, listen, we were literally before we got on this, we're watching a true crime TV show about the TikTok murders that she's watching on Netflix. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
why do we have to watch this? Why do we have to constantly watch this? I know, and I'm sure that some people in the comments will be able to support me on this. They're studying. They are studying. They're writing books in journals, and they're quietly doing this because they know they could get away with it because they know all the different angles. That's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
No one can tell me otherwise.
I was fine with her watching it. It is when she started taking notes. She pulls out a notepad every now and then and puts it back underneath the pillow. I'm like, hold on a second. What was that? Why?
But the
What?
fact that they watch it to relax, that's what's even more scary.
I know.
Like, how can you watch that kind of stuff to relax? Like, if I want to relax, I watch golf. It puts me to sleep within like 5 minutes. Just
Yeah.
that monotone voice, the low clap every time something happens, nothing really loud. What did she call it? For trust a woman into murder. I like that. I like that. Thank you,
I like
David. I
that.
know I have a new term for that. I don't know if I'll be able to use that in any of my content, but probably get me a strike or
Nope.
two.
But you know what? I like it.
I like it. I like it. I like it. It's good stuff. Yeah. My wife has started an Amazon wish list. Uh, what's on her wish
Yes.
list? It doesn't have anything to do with like lime, some fertilizers or anything
No, it's
special,
like
chemicals,
luminol, tarps, shovels. Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So let's talk about
absolutely.
what you got. Let's talk about what you got coming up on the horizon. Is there anything exciting in your future? Because I got some stuff that I'd love to tell the folks here that we hopefully have come up here on our Gen X side. But what about you? You got anything exciting before we wrap this all up?
Well, every day is exciting because I'm learning more and more every day. Trying to do a lot more stuff. Always have new stickers coming. We did just collab with Bennett Peach, who I saw was in here, which was absolutely really cool for us. She's been a she's been a big supporter, a big fan for a long time. We've been a big fan of what she does. So I love being able to do a collab with her and have her stickers and stuff where we're at. As for me, it's always trying to continuously grow. There are some things on the horizon that people have been asking me for. I cannot peel back the curtain just yet, but I promise really cool, exciting things are coming. I just have to make that happen.
That's awesome. That's good
But
to hear.
you've got all sorts of cool stuff coming up.
I have a lot of cool stuff. So first off, somebody actually said that I do have the link trees up here available for both of us. And yes, my merch is almost completely sold out. So you guys can see the QR codes. I checked them; they work. You can get to his link tree, you can get to my link tree, and you can go through all of the merch stores. Mine's a little light right now because I don't stock hats. I do drop orders, and I don't buy the same hats all the time. So if you want a hat of a particular color or whatever, you just got to grab it when it's there because it's not gonna last very long. But I got some really cool hats for the ladies coming out in this drop, which is due to be here around July 26th. That's when that one should arrive. So I got yelled at by the missus and some other females in my life that I need some more women centric hats. So those are coming out. The other thing is, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I got to go to the Nashville NASCAR race. That was awesome. NASCAR brought me in as a VIP. They set us up at a hotel. We had a great time. No, we didn't find the Hawk Tuah girl. We were looking for her, but she was not out that night. That we were out, so that didn't happen. I was looking for a collab. Got nothing. But there is a potential that we may do another adventure with NASCAR. And if I am able to do another adventure with NASCAR, I've already asked Mr. Magaha here to come on another NASCAR adventure with me. So hopefully we will be able to do that in the
Fingers
October time
crossed on
range.
that one,
Crossing
man.
my fingers. Yeah, that would be
That would
fun.
be amazing.
It was a riot. I luckily the person that I went with, he was a NASCAR lifelong veteran, and he taught me a lot about NASCAR and that kind of stuff. So that's what I've got coming up on my side. The other one, which is also in Nashville, if you're in Nashville around Labor Day, there are a couple few creators who may be there. I'm not going to say
Yep.
their names because we all said that we weren't going to say it, but I will say that I am one of them. And there are three other very strong Gen X creators who may or may not be in the Nashville area on Labor Day weekend. That's all I'm going to say until we all agree that it's official and we're going to publicize
Yeah.
it. But for anybody in the Nashville area, that's coming up real soon. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Lots of cool stuff. And I'm just having a damn blast doing this.
Isn't that the best part about it? I mean,
God,
that is one of those things for me that just blow my mind. You ask me what I've got coming up, and I truthfully tell you, like every day is an adventure. Like it is, it's a blast, and so fortunate and happy to be able to do this. And then again, like to have people like yourself. There's a lot of, I hate this word, but there's a lot of gatekeeping in doing this, and for some reason I don't get it. But I'm like, let's all just have fun. This is really cool. The fact that we can connect with people and laugh, in the growing up years, you living in South Carolina, me living in North Carolina, we wouldn't have met. Like
no
we
way.
would have had to be
No
pen
way.
pals. Yeah, we had been pen pals. I would have sent you a
Oh,
flat
God.
Stanley and hoped that you mailed him back to me.
Do you
That's it.
remember when, wait, do you remember when calling somebody outside of your city was long distance
Yes.
and you had to pay? You had to pay more for that phone call. It'd be somebody like 20 miles down the road, and it was more
Area
expensive.
code.
So
We used to not
yeah,
have to
area
dial
code,
an area code.
right? If you had to
I,
dial an
I
area code, it was automatically long distance.
yes, I never remembered having to dial an area code. I can remember the phone number I grew up with and never having to dial an area code. So I know that is
Yeah,
long distance. Collect calling. I can remember getting dropped off somewhere with no cell phone and getting told you call home.
right. Excuse me.
Oh,
Been battling this sickness. Um, so Grayson, before we jump off and before I say who our next creator is that's going to be in the lineup, is there anything you want to say to the people out there?
I
Anything
greatly
you want to say?
appreciate everything that you guys absolutely. I appreciate everybody who's followed us and who has let us be where we're at so very much. Everything that you guys have done for us is awesome, and the fact that you give us the opportunity to make you laugh every day makes me so happy. Um, this dude's really awesome, so let me say thank you to him as much as possible. Again, learning tree, he's the oak. It's true. So, other than that, man, I mean, I'm just having a blast, and I hope everybody else gets to have fun with it too.
Yeah, I hope so too. And I think I had one question that I'm going to answer. You do all your own merch, right? All your merch is shipped and wrapped and packaged by you. And that's the
Everything
same thing for
except for
me.
shirts. Yep.
Everything
Everything
except for
except for
shirts.
shirts now because everybody was asking for shirts that we couldn't do. We started with like 2 or 3 black t-shirts, and then I couldn't get up to 5X's. Now I can, and I could not get like ladies halter tops and things like that because we are honestly doing our merch from a 2-bedroom farmhouse that was built in 1941. So I don't have the ability to do mass quantities in shirts. So our shirts are still our designs. It's everything that we were screen pressing, just with a company now that can actually do it. They're out in Nevada. We still use a U.S. owned company, everything like that. So, but yes, as for stickers and decals, Mrs. McGaha Comedy, we even when we're out, we have a big bag of stickers and things that we have to do.
And I hear you as well because I'm in my office backslash shipping room, um,
Oh yeah,
where I pack everything here myself as well. So this is 100% me. If you make an order through the DBV store, it's
yeah.
coming directly from my hands with a
It's
nice
all
little love
sitting
note.
behind me. I had to make it look pretty for a minute, but yeah, it's always there,
It's just
man.
it's the traveling work. Well, before we jump off, Grayson, huge thank you to you for taking your time to be on here.
Thank you
For
for the
everybody
invite.
that's yeah, dude, come on, we're boys, absolutely, and I hope that we get to play together in person in very short time.
Me
But
too.
for those of you who are watching still, the next set of creators is something you're going to want to pay attention to because I have lined up Slim Sherry, not just Slim Sherry, Kelly Mono, and
What?
Dr. Professor Nick Harrington.
That's the
Those
four
are my
horsemen of Gen
next.
X apocalypse right there.
Those are my next three uh, guests on the Coffee and Creators live stream. So
I'm
pay attention to Instagram, pay attention to YouTube, pay attention to Facebook. You'll get more notifications on the exact date. The next one is the 28th. And I will put the same type of communications out about that. So those are the big three that are coming up next. And of course, I've got a whole lot of other people that I want to reach out and have fun with this because it is fun.
It is
So,
fun and I appreciate it very, very much.
yeah, Grayson, go back to your vacation because I know that I'm taking time away from Mrs. Magaha with this, and tell her who's in the background. I know she's in the background. Tell her thank you for giving you up to all of us for this time. We
She
really
said, "Thank
appreciate
you
it.
for taking me. Thank you for taking me for an hour away from her." So she's good.
She, did she leave? Is she going out and having drinks right now? Is that where she went?
Yeah, I don't know where she's at. She might have left me with the kids because now there's a little one running around. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
but man, have
Well,
a
all
great
right.
one. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, it's been a blast. Thanks, Grayson. And to everybody else in the live stream, thank you guys all for coming in and interacting with us. And let's do this again real soon. Have a good one.
Bye, y'all.